All right, welcome. This is Nick Green presenting Let's Read Japanese, course series for the reading of Japanese text alongside its audio counterpart. Today's episode is Let's Read Japanese, Shinya Shokudo, the movies, the 2016 movie, part 3 of 5. Okay. Yeah, so there's not too much to say about the movie. We're currently in the middle of the second story of the movie. Assuming, like the previous movie, there'll be 3 stories it'll be covering. So it's one about a mother, taking a restaurant owner and her son in the 20s that seems to not be interested in taking over the business all that much. Yeah, it seems like an interesting story on this part, so probably continuing on that. Uh, with that said, for those of you on YouTube, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and like, leave a comment. Feedback's always welcome. If you enjoy this series, I'd like to see more like in this fashion. Subscribe to the channel. I plan to make more like this, many more like this in the future if all goes well. And finally, this is all part of the Let's Learn Japanese project. So if you enjoy what I'm doing to help the Japanese learning community and like to support that, then one way to do that is via the Patreon. So a link in the description below, as well as links to the Let's Learn Japanese website that Otaku put together and the community Discord. Finally, if you'd like to hire me on commission, technical assistance, advice, or mainly this is usually what people do is like for one-on-one, an hour or two, basically walking them through setting up the process to incorporate these various resources I talked about in their Japanese learning, or to restarting Japanese, or changing direction and changing focus on how they like to approach Japanese learning. Okay, so if you'd like to do that, the hourly rates and the payments are done via the Patreon. The link specifically for that is in the description as well. Okay, with that said, let's get started. We're on the 40-minute mark of the movie and be going up to the 60-minute mark. So it roughly comes out to about 280 lines of dialogue. All it is, I took all the lines of dialogue, which came out to like 1,400 for the movie, and divided by 5, so roughly 280 lines of dialogue. Gives you that way each videos are roughly the same length, around 40 minutes to an hour of the videos which I'm trying to do for the Let's Read. Okay, that's the thought process behind it. So with that said, let's get to it.
あら、まだ起き
Where are we at?
てたの？
話があるんだけど。
ダメダメ、もうこの前ごまあげたばっかりでしょ。お水ちょうだい。
Yeah, she's drunk.
会っても
ありがとう。
会ってもらいたい人がいるんだ。
誰？
結婚したいと思ってる。
Jeez. Nice spit take. Hmm.
どうも。
毎度そばせです。
毎度そばせです。
どうも。ご苦労様。
はい、毎度。はい。はい。どうも。
どうも。
You can see that's done very quickly, and they got to do it quickly because if they're doing demai, they got to deliver a lot in the morning, or as either around lunch, or some do it at breakfast, lunch. It just depends on and they got to, again, they can't really go off of niceties. They got to get there. Here's delivery. Here's a payment, or maybe the payment's already been done, and they go on to the next one. That's, yeah. This is a busy time of work. Where are we at here? Oh, it's her. Okay. Chaku, Chakao, Chakon? Let's see if they'll actually say that. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, the pop-up doesn't work. I guess I could. Let me check real quick. Uh,
チャッカ、
Chaka. Yeah. Was this like previously, or this is like where are we at here?
母ちゃんに話した。
Oh, so it is her.
うん
会うつもりないって。
そう
ろくに話聞いてくれなかった。どうしよっか。
簡単にはいかないって分かってたじゃない。私大丈夫。会ってくれるまで待つから。
毎度。
Oh, and I like the bikes are the suspension system, and I guess it's patent, or I don't know if it's still the patent still active, or I'm pretty sure it's not anymore, but it's really good about allowing you to travel without, you know, messing up the contents of the of what's being delivered. So it's a pretty interesting system they got set up for the suspension system. No, that's good.
いきなりよ、もうびっくりしちゃったわ。
けど瀬尾だってそういう相手がいてもおかしくない年頃だろ。
だけどさ、相手の女ずーがも年上なのよ。
I thought the other girl was it was a year younger, not like 15 years younger. But I mean, that makes sense. She does look like she's in her 30s, and he's obviously like 25 or so.
ありえないありえない。
そうかな。いや僕は還暦過ぎてからの女性でないと思えないですけどね。
Okay. Kaneki. Kaneki. Oshie Toshi de 61歳。ん
いや僕は還暦過ぎてからの女性でないと思えないですけどね。いや僕は還暦過ぎてからの女性でないと思えないですけどね。あの皮膚の頼りなさがまたひとしおで。いや
I wonder if that's a phrase itself. No. If you know.
いやすごく伸びるんですよね。変態が。いやすごあの皮膚の頼りなさがあの皮膚の頼りなさがまたひとしおで。いやすごく伸びるんですよね。変態が口挟んじゃいけないよ。
こんばんは。
いらっしゃい。
沙織ちゃん。
聖子さん。
私あんたと話したかったのよ。ちょっと。
I'm saying like this is kind of beggars belief that first off, two ladies are interested in ping pong walking to the restaurant and started talking. So that right there should have talked about made her think of her son, who's has been only interested in ping pong outside of because he got zero interest in work, but didn't mention anything about that and didn't think maybe there was like more to it to the story.
ちょっと早く座って座って。
はい。
とりあえずビール。
はい。
マスター。ビリポ。
はいよ。
彼ね、お母さんに私のこと話したらしいんだけど、年上の女に遊ばれてるだけだって反対されたって。
もし
ろくでもない母親だね。あんたのこと知りもしないで決めつけるなんてさ。
ろくでもない。
ろくでも。
もし
年上の女に遊ばれてるだけだって反対されたって。
もし
ろくでもない母親だね。あんたのこと知りもしないで決めつけるなんてさ。
彼の話聞いてるとなんていうか子離れできてないんじゃないかなって。
ああ、わかる。そういうのが一番立ち悪いのよ。息子が旦那の代わりになってんだね。
沙織ちゃん、一度会ってみたら。
でもうまくいくかな。
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's
気
probably
にす
put
る
it
こと
together.
ないよ。親なんか先死んじゃうんだから。二人が良けりゃいいんだよ。沙織ちゃん、私あんたの味方よ。
いらっしゃい。
あ、セータ。うちの息子。またピンポンやってたんでしょ。ピンポン玉あっち行ったりこっち行ったり、ただラケットに叩かれてるだけ。それとあんたじゃん。
I'm sure these two also put it together. I mean,
いやー、うまいこと言いますね。意思を持った行動への促しですね。意思を持った行動への促しですね。
足があるからしゃしゃり出ちゃいけないよ。
足がある。足がある。シャシャリ出る。
足があるからしゃしゃり出ちゃいけないよ。
ピンポン。
ほら、沙織ちゃん聞いて。この子ね、仕事もろくにできないくせに結婚したいなんて言ってんのよ。しかも相手は年上だって。生意気でしょ。何する？うどん？沙織ちゃん、この子うどんなのよ。マスター、焼きうどん一つ。セーターに。
はいよ。
セーター。この人沙織ちゃん、どう？
どうって？
この子人見知りなところがあってね。でも私この子人見知りなところがあってね。でも私母親だからわかるんだけど、この子沙織ちゃんって大人の女の人だ、魅力満点って思ったの。一瞬にして。そうでしょ。
いや、
ほら赤くなった。あんたから見てもグッとくるでしょ。だからね、沙織ちゃんだったらいい人きっと見つかる。いいの、子供のことは。高齢出産の話はいずれ考えるとしてさね。
Unless the mother already know, maybe the mother is not stupid. Maybe she already sees the connection here, but maybe not. I mean, this is this is like almost this is like too much. I mean, this can't you can't not see this, right? I mean,
セータ
anyway, but she is drunk, so maybe that's
高
part of
齢
it.
出産の話は
Anyway, here we are. Shoot. There we go.
いずれ考えるとしてさね。セータあんたも連れてくるのが沙織ちゃんみたいないい女じゃなきゃ私絶対に会わないからね。男と女がくっつくのに年の差なんて関係ない。そういうことよ、沙織ちゃん。
いや、俺もそう思う。なんか
Uh,
お互いが良ければそれでいいじゃん。年の差あれこれ言うのは大体周りの人たちだったりするからさ。要は本人たちの問題っていうかさ。
なにちょっと珍しく弁舌爽やか。
俺この人と結婚する。
uh, ping pong.
いいじゃないいいじゃない。沙織ちゃんだったら人気出るわよ。それでさ、沙織ちゃんがさ、お母さん疲れてないですか、肩揉みましょうか。で私が「悪いわね、ちょっとお願いしようかしら」なんつって、で沙織ちゃんがほら指の腹のとこでこうグイグイ押してきて「痛くないですか?」ああ聞くあんた心得てるわ」とか言っちゃって、で「あれセーターは?」 町内会の寄り合いがあるってさっき出かけました。そう。
町内会。Within the city's limits, right? Neighborhood association.
そう。町内会の寄り合いがあるってさっき出かけました。そう。じゃあ帰り遅いわね。二人で少し飲まないなんて最高じゃない。ね。セータあんたが妙な冗談言うから沙織ちゃん怒っちゃったじゃない。ごめんね。
ごめんなさい。私なんです。お母さん。
私なんです。お母さん。マスター、焼きうどんキャンセル。
はい。あいよ。
あよ。
What is she doing? Okay.
母ちゃん
Gotcha.
母ちゃん。
ダメなものはダメ。15も上なのよ。あんたが35の時向こうは50。
Let's see. 15 years. I mean, it's not necessarily. I mean, because I've known like, let's see, a few of the people I've known got married. Like he was. Yeah, it was roughly about that on 10 or 15 years age difference. Um, if if the concern is about having children, then yeah, that could be an issue because obviously, as the older you get, then having children becomes either difficult, if not impossible. Um, I mean, it is possible at that age, but again, it becomes more not his age, but her age. But if that's not a concern, like you're really not concerned about having children, then really the age it's not going to be that big of a difference. 15 years, it's kind of pushing like a generational gap, as in just having a what reference to. Because again, when you're talking about what you grew up enjoying as childhood, that could be an issue. Similar to like, but that's kind of like also when you have a different. It's not that essential. It's just it will be a gap. But that's no, kind of very similar to like if you grew up on different countries. You marry outside of a um, for that. So I don't think that's big. And if the gap was flipped, then no one would even notice or care. It's like okay, the guy is 15 years older than the girl. It's almost like almost seems like that's not big of a deal. Although similar deals would be when it has to deal with relating to each other. Um, hmm, yeah, I don't think it. But if it turns out you both get along, like you both have a passion in one thing, especially ping pong, you turn out you actually do like each other. Very likable personalities. Yeah, it just yeah, yeah. I don't see a problem with it. It's just that society on average, it's kind of like for myself, it would be like in the military, or at least around Japan. Like if it comes to like let's say foreigners marrying Japanese persons, the average is a foreign Japanese man. I'm sorry, a foreign man marries a Japanese woman. That's the average, probably the norm. And then but what also happens, but it's not as common, would be again, a Japanese man marrying a foreign woman, foreign lady. There's that as far as when marrying out. Now, as for age, again, the average is probably an older gentleman marrying the older person would be, the man. Now, my brother-in-law's case, he and his wife are around the same age. My wife is 5 years older than I am. Got another friend that his wife's the older one, like 9 or 10 years older. But usually most of them are roughly around the same age, from what I've noticed. And again, it's like part of the having children is not a part of the equation, so it's probably not the concern about the age of how the lady would be in the case. That's not even a concern. Now, if it happened, which sometimes it does, it's a wonderful thing, but it's not something they're trying to plan around. They're not trying to plan a marriage around having a baby or plan a marriage or um, now some things could be about taking care of older family members. That could be a concern, especially in Japan. Um, and that sometimes like not mentioning that can be grounds for if that part of a marriage that wasn't mentioned, that could be ground one of the reasons to get divorced, because again you're not marrying into becoming basically a keeper housekeeper, not housekeeper, but a daycare, not daycare, home care for another somebody else. But yeah, just seeing this up, it's probably not that big of a deal, and it happens and it works out. And what I notice is that, like I said, I look older than my wife, so I look older. I don't, but I act immature quite a while. So it depends on whether or not if alcohol is involved. Then it depends. Like one of us, we can be silly. We're not like mean or anything, just silly when we drink. But so as far as maturity, I think we both have our mature and immature aspects. And we both have. It depends on the situation at hand. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't just from looking at this, I would have put him as being younger than 26. He looks younger than that, like almost like a high school age. But if he's that age, going out with a lady who's around, who's yeah a little older, but sooner or later it catches up. Like I said, the difference between the ages right now may feel a lot more extreme, but in 10 years and in 30 years, it's not going to be as extreme. And in fact, um, probably, again, men tend to die younger than women, so there's that. It's like they're probably going to, you know, age by the time they get up in maturity and retirement side of things, and that's when stuff starts to catch you up. And it's like, okay, yeah, the difference in age is almost irrelevant by that point. Okay, but anyway, let's keep going with the story. I'm probably embarrassing myself trying to talk about it anyway. uh, yeah.
あんたが男盛りの45の時、あんたが35の時、向こうは50。あんたが男盛りの45の時。
Hmm? Tokugozari. Hmm. The prime years of one's life.
あんたが男盛りの45の時、向こうは還暦よ。
It's six. Okay, so Kandeki 60. Goju no Gozori. Toko Gozari. So probably Ona Gozari is as well. Probably. I wonder if that's a word as well.
赤いちゃんちゃんこ着るのよ。
沙織だったらいいって母ちゃん言ったじゃないか。
それは。
I was thinking about an ideal. It wasn't like a reality. I was talking about a fantasy. Because
言葉のあやよ、ものの厚みよ。言葉のあやよ、ものの厚みよ。
Ayayo. Kotoba no aya. Okay. Kotoba no ayayo.
言葉のあやよ、ものの厚みよ。あの人はいい人だけど、あんたとは合わない。
いや、勝手に決めつけんなよ。
今
I like that. 勝手に決めつけんなよ。
はのぼせてるからうまくいく気がしてるだけ。結婚なんてそんな簡単なもんじゃないんだからね。
いや、俺どんなことがあっても彼女とこの店守るよ。
一人前にもなってないのに。
一人前の部分、分量。One portion. One's. 一年前に。
一人前にもなってないのに。
何の
病院でおばあちゃんに結婚の相談してたろ。分かってんだから。私は許さないよ。もしどうしてもって言うなら親子の縁切るからね。
I missed something?
これは親父の代わりじゃねえよ。
Whatever. Hmm.
母ちゃん、要するにさ、俺を他の女に取られんのが嫌なだけだろ。
バカなこと言ってんの？昼寝するからあんた仕込みやっといてよ。
Hmm.
いつも綺麗に洗ってもらってありがとうございます。
Wait a minute. Different.
いつも綺麗に洗ってもらってありがとうございます。はい、器ですよ。
ついでだから別にお礼言われるほどのことじゃない。
これ胃薬です。前は丼物も食べてらしたのに、この頃そばばっかりだからなんか命調子でも悪いのかなって。
気持ち悪い。
毎度。
Hmm.
あの時落ち込んでた私はあれで救われた。落ち込んでた私はあれで救われた。
いや、俺は落ち込んだな。
せいちゃん、ありがとね。別れようか。
The fuck?
やっぱ無理だよ。お母さんの言うことわかる。
Hmm.
俺はわかんねえ。二人でどっか行っちゃおう。俺バイトでも何でもやって沙織幸せにするからさ。
せいちゃん、お母さん置いてける？無理よね。そんな人なら私好きになってないもん。
Hmm.
来た来て。カード持ってこい。カード持ってこい。
ここ？
もうそう上に。あれそんな引っ張るなよ。
なんだよ。
ほらもっとこっち
指図すんなよお前。
もう
Yeah, again.
ちょほらこっち
なんだよ。
いいよ。そうだね。通り雨じゃないかな。
Okay, so that's an actual phrase. Okay, 通り雨。さっと。で、すぐに止んでしまう。通り雨。I like that. I mean, you read it, it makes sense, but it's like it was kind of interesting. It's a phrase or a word in of itself. 通り雨じゃないか。Well, really, I mean, it's hard to say. It's like it's kind of like when English, like if you treated phrases like a word, then yeah, English has kind of like a just me a variety of words as other languages. Well, we just tend to have them in or each individual. Technically, it's individual words, but they make up a collect a again a phrase that in itself contains a meaning. They sometimes make sense by hearing it in by hearing it another time, so you got to know the context. Otherwise, it would by itself would make zero sense.
照れちゃうんだけど。
照れちゃうんだけど。照れる be embarrassing, right? 照れる。照れちゃう。
照れちゃうんだけど。
なんだけど。
私死んだ亭主にぞっこんだったの。
ぞっこんだ。ぞっこん。うん。
私死んだ亭主にぞっこんだったの。外面とは違って内弁慶でさ。
内弁慶。うん。
外面とは違って内弁慶で。私死んだ亭主にぞっこんだったの。外面とは違って内弁慶でさ。
内弁慶でさ。
寝る前に顔近づけてそばにいてくれてありがとうってささやくの。でいびきかいて寝ちゃうの。その寝顔見てたら私とっても落ち着いて、
うん、
よかったな、この人と暮らせてって思った。だからずっと惚れてたんだ。沙織ちゃんも同じかな、マスター。
うん。
聖子さん、ソファー食べるかい？
あ？
味見してもらいたいんだよ。お待ち。
Oh, that does look so good. I really like soba, especially cold soba. I like cold soba. In the soup, I'm not a fan of hot soba. Yeah.
うまくない。ボソボソしてる。
ボソボソ。ボソボソ。うまくない。ボソボソしてる。
うまくない。ボソボソしてる。何ました？
それね、聖望が打ったそばなんだ。味見してくれって持ってきてね。聖望、おばあちゃんに頼んで2ヶ月前から知り合いの蕎麦屋で蕎麦打ちの修行をしていたんだ。一人前になって店立て直すんだって張り切ってたよ。早く聖子さんを楽にしてやるんだって。
まずい。
いるかな。
うん。いいよ。
いるかもね。
いいだろ
うん。
こういう音色のように生きなきゃいけないよ。
Feels like it's like the end of the story. All right, I'm gonna call it there. Plus, I'm getting the battery low announcement in my earpiece. So, tell you what. So this is at the 57:20. We'll say around 58 minutes. Sure. Okay, so we'll change that to 58 minutes. All right. Okay. I should have said part 4. Okay. With that said, this is a so. Do, 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 do. All right, we'll go there. Yeah, I thought this was a kind of a sweet story. I mean, it kind of like, as far as it's like, come on, are you not connecting? That these are the two people that are trying to go out together. I mean, I just couldn't believe. I mean, I think it'd been better as like they didn't have to show that. Like it could have been. It was kind of obvious. I misunderstood it because I thought she was saying like Toshishita. I know that meant younger, but I thought it was like she was saying 1 year younger. She was dating someone who was 1 year younger than her, not someone that was like 15 years younger. So I misunderstood that part. That then the mother was talking to her and like exact same story from the other side, but she wasn't putting it together. I was like, okay, come on, you haven't been drinking that much. But when it happened, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought, and you see her concern, her worries. I don't agree. I mean, I understand it. Doesn't mean I agree with it. I don't. And it's like if you do try too strong, he will leave. And you don't want that. I mean, you kind of hope like becoming a part of the fountain, but the maybe it's just convincing that he's maybe just not cut out to make soba. There's that. Yeah. Oh no, I find that kind of hard to believe because it's like, soba. I'm sure part of it is just there's a recipe or something you could probably create, but that doesn't mean it. You can through practice make something better. If you put your heart into it, I'm pretty sure. Um, uh, but yeah, I mean, it can get. I don't know. To me, like it might feel repetitive, but maybe to some other people, it's like it'll work for them. Uh, I can't imagine like just making the same thing daily. To me, it's not in my mindset, but I'm sure to other people that might be calming and relaxing. You know, so there's something repetitive you can do that can be calming and relaxing. To me, that I can't imagine doing that. But then I haven't gotten into the joy of what cooking is. For my wife, I'm sure she could probably imagine doing that. Although she might want some variety in what she cooks. So maybe something like the Shinya Shokudo where it can have a little bit more variety in the in the menu, or maybe you can have the same menu but it's slightly change it over now and again. Um, okay, the test. Got to keep careful because, like I said, the earphones are about to go power down. Um, Beyond that, yeah, like I said, it was a good story, and I there's still about 40 minutes left. I don't know how long this. Yeah, 50 minutes left. So I mean, there's still like so it's probably like two more stories that'll be involved with it. So then so instead of being three stories with one overarching, this would just be four stories all together. So yeah, we'll do two. So I'll probably do it like that. I'll finish one story and then continue on with the other because I probably could have done that with instead of like again I'm a little feel a little iffy. I might I might split the stories up. It just depends. Like if this next story ends in the right amount of time, I'll continue it on and finish it where the story ends. It just depends on how it works. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to think about how I want to schedule all this. All right. Anyway, that's the end of the day. For those of you watching, all one of you that are watching, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a nice story. I do recommend watching on Netflix if you have that opportunity. You might have to use VPN, or there might be ways to access it without it. I don't know. But yeah, but it is on a movie, so it's a different than the Shinya Shokudo, the series. So there's Tokyo Stories, Shinya Shokudo Tokyo Stories, which is the ones that were made from Netflix. I think those are available in the U.S. No matter what. So, but maybe the movies and the older show you can access if you just change your settings just correctly, like saying, hey, I want also Japanese language options. It's not switching your Netflix account to Japanese. It's like just saying, hey, it's one of the language options of the shows that you want to look for. Japanese can be one of those options. That might work. I don't know. It's because I have to do that. I'm doing this inside of Japan, so that kind of affects. But I have noticed like I can. Actually, no, I can't. I'll just leave it at that. So test it out. If not, again, go for a VPN because again, it's a nice series. I think it's worth it. It's also a good series to study. I can imagine. Yep. And yeah, so I'll finish that up tomorrow if all goes well. Thank you all very much. This has been Let's Read Japanese, Shinya Shokudo Movies, the 2016 movie, part 3 of 5. Like I said, tomorrow for those. Boom, boom, boom. Well, okay, it looks like you're able to hear me. Well, there went the earpieces. Might as well put them back in here now. Yay. All right, but anyway, it seems like the audio is working, so I'll just keep it going. But anyway, thank you. Yeah, as far as the movie, again, this will be out on August or September the 14th. So with that said, then the next video will be then September the 15th. There you go. Yeah, that's magic there. That's on YouTube. All right, for those of you on Twitch, I'll be back tomorrow doing the other two parts of the rest of this movie. Okay, beyond that, thank you all very much. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like and leave a comment. If you enjoy the series, subscribe to see more. This is part of the, if you appreciate what I'm doing with the Japanese language, helping the Japanese language community, you can support that. You can do that, support that via the Patreon. So link to that in the description, as well as the website and the community Discord. Finally, if you'd like to hire me on commission, or usually probably like one-on-one, or just walking an hour or two, or just walking you through the setup process of getting started in learning Japanese, or changing over to using the resources that I tend to recommend in these videos. Then the hourly rates and the payments are done via the Patreon, so that the direct link specifically for that is in the description as well. All right, thank you all very much. I will see you later, and yeah, have fun. All right, later, guys.